Hey guys, and welcome to episode 1 of The Knitty Vampire. My name is Crystalina, and I'm coming to you from Central Alabama, where I live with my husband Luke and our puppy Cortland. If this is your first time to the channel, welcome. It is episode 1, which I know sounds a little odd to be saying, but I did have another podcast up that I've been running for about 2 years. Felt like just a new face, a new branding, a new clean slate to start off the decade was needed. You can find me as The Knitty Vampire here on YouTube, also on Instagram and Ravelry. My Etsy shop can be found at The Knitty Vampire as well. I will link all of that down below, along with a link to our Ravelry group where you can basically put in chatter. I will be running some knit-alongs throughout 2020 that you are more than welcome to join, nay, in fact, encouraged to join. I have not a lot to share with you, considering it's episode 1. I wanted to kind of ease on into it and kind of feel what would be best for my flow of how I'd like the podcast to go. I think what I will start with is my works in progress. Then we'll jump into maybe some spinning, some design talk, and then some shop news. I think that's pretty much how this is going to work. At the very end, we'll throw in some live chat and kind of see how we feel about this whole new setup. Now, the wall behind me is blowing out like crazy, which is okay. It's exactly what I wanted to have happen. The wall behind me is actually a bright teal blue. So we'll go with there. Also, you may hear some noise in the background. That is because Luke is in the living room on the couch playing his Nintendo Switch because I am super self-conscious and did not want to hear him or have him hear me just recording. It was way too quiet in the house. So I am in the laundry room, of all places, but it has the best light and I can close the door so the dog doesn't come in and out. So let's jump right on in to works in progress. My first work in progress is going to be a crochet work in progress. So I do a little bit of knitting, a little bit of crochet, a little bit of spinning, some cross stitch here and there. You'll see a multitude of that throughout the podcast, I'm sure. But we'll start with my crochet work in progress. And as of right now, it's looking very small and very wide. And this is all I've got so far, which seems like, Crystal, what are you making here? I am making the Rye Bread Cardigan by 11 Handmade. Linda Scuja is her name. It is an oversized cardigan, so this is the back piece. So obviously very, very oversized, which means it'll be super cozy to wrap around and just snuggle in. I'm hoping to have this finished by springtime, so that way I have something during those cooler spring and summer nights to just throw on and cuddle up in. I am using Karen's Simply Soft for this yarn. I'm trying to work through Stash in 2020, so we'll see how that goes. But yeah, it's a lot of fun. These little rye bread poofs in here are a lot easier than I thought they were going to be, and they're a lot of fun when you get to them. So I have used up 1 ball of Stash so far. That's exactly what that is gonna look like, and I'm so excited to wear it. I am using a 4.5 millimeter hook. Do not ask me what that is in US sizing. I have no idea. But I will link all of my project pages down below for you to see. I will make sure the conversion is in there. The next work in progress that I have, we're going to jump right on into knitting, is going to be my advent blanket. Now, I seriously dropped the ball on this one when it came to putting in a square every day. It's getting there, and I've decided that I'm not going to put pressure on myself to finish anything in 2020. I'm just going to do what feels right. So this lovely half chevron snake that I have here is the beginning of my Fly True, I think it's called, blanket by Skenanigans, Ellie. I was doing really well. So I did days 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Day 9. Day 9 was a day. Day 9, I did not want to do anything. I did not want to vlog. I did not want to knit. I did not want to crochet. I wanted to stay in a little black ball and not do anything. So I forced myself to do the small amount of scraps that I had and then completely lost steam. I abandoned Vlogmas on day 8. I will be uploading everything that I did film sometime this weekend. We shall see how that plays out. But yeah, I wasn't putting pressure on myself to do Vlogmas every day. I wanted to. I was recording every day, but I didn't want to do everything all at once. It was a lot to edit. I didn't have my laptop at the time. I was using Luke's computer. We were going to and from Huntsville to go see my parents, and it was too much to keep on top of it. But I did record, so I will throw all of those into just one long Vlogmas video. And just kind of do that. But yeah, so I still have a lot of minis. All of these minis are just part of the grab bag minis that I had from Tempe Yarn and Fiber when I used to live in Arizona. It was, you grab a whole bunch for a certain amount of money. I forget what that is, but I grabbed a whole bunch of them, so I have more than enough to do at least the first 2 rows on this blanket. I am anticipating making a full to queen size blanket out of these. We shall see how it goes. It'll probably take me a couple of years, and I'm okay with that. This is one of 2 scrappy projects that are long-term that I have that I'm working on, but this is the one that has seen the most love. I also have a scrappy granny stripe blanket that I'm using. This is all fingering weight. I'm knitting it on a US 2, which I believe is a 2.5 millimeter needle, maybe 2.75 millimeter needle. I'm not quite sure. Again, all of it will be down below in the project pages for you to see on Ravelry. But yeah, this is the one that's seen the most work. It's had a fingering weight yarn. My crochet granny stripes blanket, which I do not have to show you today, is more so worsted, DK, even bordering on Aran weight yarn at some points. Just whatever I've got goes in, and that one's just going to be a scrappy throw blanket for the living room or something. Not really too concerned about that one. The next work in progress that I have is going to be a sweater project. Now, I was very, very lucky that Megan of Bad Wolf Girl Sits and Knits, Bad Wolf Girl Yarn and Bad Wolf Girl Designs, sent me this bag for Get Your Yarn Wishes Granted. I had asked for project bags, and she so kindly sent me one. Now, not only did she do that, but I had test knit her Simply Cozy pattern when it came out in June last year, I believe it was. Yeah, it was June. And I had made mine in a fade, and she had been every so often mentioning how, she really needs to put a fade on the needle. She really needs to knit one in a fade. She really, really wants one. So finally I sat there and I said, I've got some time. I'll knit you a fade. And so she sent me the yarn so that I could cast on her Simply Cozy. I am knitting the 45-inch bust. I am using US 6. I believe those are 4.5 millimeter needles. I could be wrong, and my knit picks do not, or not knit picks, knit pros do not say what the millimeters are, but I believe that is a 4.5. Again, it's all in the project notes down below. So this is what I've got so far. First off, this is the yarn that she sent. It's gorgeous. It's like teals and greens and pops of like orange and purple and pink, and it's beautiful is what it is. So this is skein 1 out of 3 that I will be making this out of. I do have a 4th if I need to dip into it, but she did say the 4th one was for me, so thank you, Meg. I appreciate it so much. You have no idea. Can't wait to put it into something. But this is where I'm at right now. I have knit the back, the shoulders, and the front. I have just joined in the round. I'm not alternating. Ain't nobody got time for that. But it's fine. It's not pulling in any weird ways or ways that I, would anticipate would be an issue. It's just the yarn. So I can't say I didn't alternate. I did alternate a little bit, but not for very many rows. The yarn was pulling the same way, either way. But it's nothing that's blaringly obvious other than you've got just where the speckles land. So like on the front here, there's more orange on this side than this side, but there was no way to even that out. Even when I was trying to alternate, it didn't make a difference on this one. So I just joined. Now the reason I have not been knitting on this as much was because A, I was knitting a bunch of Christmas presents, and B, the fading requires math on my part. So when I knit my Simply Cozy, I knit mine in the, I believe it was a 54-inch bust or something along those lines. Again, project page down below. But I will make sure to notate in there my modifications. So I did modify the pattern when I was testing it, not a lot at all. I did the fade, I did a lace hem on the bottom, and then I made long sleeves instead of the very short sleeves that the pattern calls for. For those of you who don't know, Simply Cozy is a drop shoulder, top down sweater, basically, fingering weight, knitted at a looser gauge than some. It's so that you basically have something to throw on the weekends when it's just the slightest bit chilly or you just want to be cozy. I wore mine all throughout the summer in the AC because I am crazy. Yeah, so for that one, I have to do some math because I have to figure out where I need to put the fades. I need to make sure I have enough yarn. I am going to make this one 17 inches long with 14-inch sleeves, so about 3/4 length sleeves for them. So I need to make sure that I have enough yarn, not just for the body to get to the 17 inches, but also for the sleeves to make sure that the fade matches what's going on in the sweater. And so that takes some math, and I just not have had the brain space for math lately. I've been super busy at work, and with the holidays, it wasn't going to happen. But now that I have some downtime, I'll probably do some math this weekend, figure out how many rows I need to knit in order to get the length that I need, how much yarn that's going to take, and then just get going. Because at this point, it's just round and round, which is awesome. The next work in progress that I'm working on, I am actually super, super excited about. This is also slightly kind of shoppish news, but I am knitting the heel toe do-si-do socks by Kay Litton, Crazy Sock Lady. And I am knitting these on a US 1 2.25 millimeter needle. These are being knit in my Autumn Court colorway, and the contrasting heel, toe, and what will be cuff is Lady of the Autumn Court, which is this beautiful winey kind of color. It's coming along on the screen more brown than it actually is. There is brown in there right here. This is more of like a Cabernet wine type color. Yeah, so as you can see, I have knit the toe. I have done an afterthought heel. So this pattern is written cuff down. I did it toe up. Now my issue is that I did not flip the pattern when I did that. So this is how the pattern is supposed to be, with your cuff up here, your pattern, your toe, your heel. She has a heel flap and gusset written into it. I decided to do the pattern. I did toe up and I did not flip the pattern. So mine's gonna look like this, which I'm okay with. I'm really not concerned about it. But what this is I have a posting for this yarn on Etsy. Make sure it's all down below. And what I do is, you have two options when you go to purchase my yarn for sock sets. You either can do a 100-gram skein of the self-striping yarn with a coordinating 20-gram mini, or you can do two 20-gram minis in the self-striping with a coordinating 20-gram mini. Obviously, 60 grams of yarn is going to be a little bit less than 120 grams of yarn. But what it is that I have taken, here's my second sock. So I have taken two 20-gram mini skeins, basically, is what they are, done the self-striping heel toe, do-si-do on both socks. Now I did toe up. I did the toe on a pair of chagus. And these are the chagu, I don't know what they're called, but they're the bamboo ones. My aunt got them for me for Christmas last year. They are amazing. And then the body of the sock is being knit on Addy 9-inch circulars. I think they are 9 or 8-inch, I can't remember. But the circulars, which are a little bit thicker. But I like to knit the toes, the heels, and the cuffs on these because they're a little bit tighter. So I did those. And then I used the full 20-gram mini skeins for the whole body. And I just knit until I had no more yarn, basically. And then did the same on the second sock. I put in the heel because I wanted to make sure that I had enough yarn for the toes and the heels. And then what I'll end up doing is, when the heel on this sock is done, this is what I've got so far left of the 20-gram mini for the coordinating color. Once I finish the heel, I will put both of these socks on the needles 2 at a time and knit the ribbing until the coordinating color is gone. And the reason that I'm doing it that way is because I do not like wasting yarn, and I do not like having a lot of a color left over. Now, a pair of socks in this length that I like mine to be normally like a crew length to ankle length type sock. Anything larger than that, I normally just wear when I'm wearing boots, but I hardly ever wear them. I will maybe use 60 grams of a 100-gram skein to make myself a pair of socks. Now, I wear a US 8. So I now have 40 grams of a self-striping yarn and no idea what to do with it. So I knit myself, the reason I came up with this is I knit myself this sock, and this is my Night Court colorway with the coordinating color Starfall. And as I was knitting, I realized that I would have enough yarn to make 2 pairs of socks if I used 2 coordinating color mini skeins and still have some left over. So I decided that I was going to try my hand to see how these sock sets went. So far, I'm happy with it. The cuff may be a little shorter than I'm used to, but I'm okay with that. So it's completely up to you how you want to do it. If you want 100 grams, or if you want to do the 2, 20-gram minis, those would be great for kids, for shorty socks, that way you're not having a whole bunch of yarn left over that you're not really going to use again. Because, other than putting it into like a scrappy project, what else are you really going to do with self-striping yarn. So that is what I'm working on. I've been doing this. So this sock I'm actually pretty happy about. I started this sock on January 6th. It is now January 11th. So I am almost done, basically. I'm putting in the heel. I cut in the heel today. So my plan is to finish the heel and then get them both on the needles to start the ribbing. If I finish the ribbing, great. If not, again, not the end of the world. I'm not too concerned about it. But yeah, so that's basically all I've been working on for knitting. I do also plan on putting these heels in. I have not done that yet. I have a pair of these with this blue and then this purple in here, not the light purple, or not the dark purple, but the lighter purple in here next to Starfall. I have another pair. It's called House of Wind. I have another pair with that as the coordinating. So I have 2 pairs of socks that I need to put heels in. Heel in on this pair of socks with some cuffs, and then I will have 2 pairs, 3 pairs of socks out of my own hand-dyed yarn. Now I do just want to say as well, this is night court, this is autumn court. I do have summer court in my Etsy shop as well, and it basically, these are all A Court of Thorns and Roses inspired. The reason I'm saying that is that it's going to go into my next whip. These are all inspired by A Court of Thorns and Roses by Sarah J. Maas. It's a book series that I absolutely love to death. Every single stripe in these self-striping socks comes with a tonal mini that matches. So you can get any of the colors in the stripes as matching coordinating heels, toes, and cuffs. This base is my Cullen base. As you can tell, it's sparkly. It is 75% superwash merino, 20% nylon, 5% Lorex. I am going to be offering in 2020 another base. I don't know which one yet. I don't know if I want to do an 85-15 superwash merino nylon. I am on the hunt for a Corriedale nylon blend. We shall see how it goes, but as of right now, this is what I have it listed on. I will also, again, be adding on another base throughout 2020, so keep an eye on that. I will also be releasing a couple of new colors in this one, and then shop news, you'll see the next collection that'll come out for the TheKnittyVampire as well. But the last work in progress that I have is some spinning. So like I said, the A Court of Thorns and Roses series is one of my favorite series. For Christmas, my parents were awesome and got me hard copies of the series. I had it all on my Kindle. I have reread it multiple times. And so my aunt bought me some fiber to spin, and I am over the moon ecstatic about it. It's from Classy Squid Fiber Co. I cannot tell you what's in it because the bag is in the living room. So I will again make sure it's all put down below, but I got these Rolags, and as you can see, it's attached to my spinning wheel, which is an electric eel wheel nano that Luke bought me for my birthday, and I love it to death. So this is the Rolag. The colorway is called Velaris, which is a color that I have in my shop for night court. It's the more navy kind of color. I love seeing everybody's different interpretations of Velaris. In the books, it's the city of starlight. It is also a huge part of the night court. So I got this from Classy Squid Fiber Co. and I could not help myself and I started spinning it. Now, I do not call myself a spinner with a capital S. I am a spinner with a lowercase s. I am new to this type of fiber art. I am not experienced. I have not taken any classes. I have not had anybody teach me other than the glorious thing that is YouTube. But yeah, I'm just loving the process of trying to spin this up. I am aiming for singles that are of a fingering weight, and then I will eventually kind of work towards plying them. I think I'm going to do a 2-ply I haven't quite decided yet. Maybe a 3-ply. Aiming to get a DK, a sport if it's a 2-ply, DK if it's a 3-ply, so that way I can use it for a cardigan of some sort. I will need to buy more of the Velaris fiber, as the bat, I believe it's 1 to 2 ounces. I think it might be 2 ounces. I will need at least 6 to 8 ounces in order to make myself a cardigan, but we shall see. Sorry, the light is flickering. We've been having some crazy weather today. Lots of rain, lots of wind, tornado warnings. Just another day in Alabama. So, yeah, I've been spinning on that. I have not spun in about a week. Again, just crazy hectic at work, and I've been working on my knitting instead. So I'm hoping to pick this up. My goal is to have this roll lag finished by the next time that I podcast, which will hopefully be sometime next week. Again, I'm not putting a lot of pressure on myself for a schedule or anything like that. This is something that I just enjoy doing, and I'm just going to do it as I enjoy doing it. But yeah, so that is all for works in progress. Let's talk a little bit about design news. So this is my very first design that I've ever come out with. This is the Calera cowl. It is based on the lovely little town that I live in here in Alabama. And as you can see, it is a cable-y, motify goodness, basically. This cowl is knit on US 6s and US 8s. Do not mind the ends that I did not weave in. But it is out of Nature Spun in the olive, sprig, and ashes colorways. Again, project page down below. But the beauty of this cowl that I love so much is that 50% of all of the proceeds on this cowl are going to help fight wildfires in Australia. Luke, my husband, is Australian. We have family in Australia still, so those fires kind of hit close to home, a little too close for comfort sometimes. So I designed the cowl, named it after our new home here in Alabama, but also wanted to make sure that we took care of his home too. And so the proceeds will always go 50% to Australia. The charities may differ depending on who meets goals that they're trying to set and everything. I will be doing those once a month to those and then posting them on Instagram to show how much we've raised. It's not a long knit. It's worsted weight on US 6 and US 8s. It's very, very quick, very cozy. I've worn it quite a few times this winter when it's been chilly and windy and rainy, and you just need something to snuggle up with. So that is the Calera cowl. I will make sure to include it down below. It is for purchase on Ravelry only at this time. I am not quite sure how to do the Etsy part of it. But we'll see. Maybe it'll go to Etsy sometime soon. The last little bit is going to be shop update news. So I do not do updates. I dye sporadically. I dye pretty much dyed to order is what I do. I occasionally will do a pre-order. I will put some stuff that's ready to ship up in the shop, but most of it is dyed to order. I am going to be coming out with a new yarn collection. And the reason is because of Luke. You can blame him for this one. So we have been watching The Witcher on Netflix, and it is just glorious. However, there is only one season available, and season 2 is not coming out till 2021, so we've got a very long year ahead of us. And what better way to do that than dye up a whole new yarn collection that I get to play with throughout the year as do you? I am coming out with the Witcher yarn collection. I'm not sure if that's going to be the full name of it or if I'm going to change that at some point, but as of right now, every color in that collection will be Witcher inspired. So if you were like me and are going to be struggling through 2020 trying to read all of the books, maybe even play the games that are, based on the books, and rewatching season 1 with those 8 episodes continuously. Who knows? So I needed something to kind of take my mind off of it. So I have dyed up 3 colors. I only have 2 to show. The third one is being drying thing in another room of the house. But yeah, so I have 2 colors here to show you. The first one is The Witcher, which is, Geralt's lovely gray hair, black suit, and his amber cat eyes, as they're described in the books. These are on mini skeins. Trying to see if the light will, that's pretty fair coloring. Maybe a little dark, a little washed out, a little blown out, but pretty fair nonetheless. So that is the first color that we have in the Witcher collection, appropriately titled Witcher. Again, I do this on mini skeins because it just makes more sense financially for the shop to test out new colors on mini skeins instead of 100-gram skeins. And then if there's a color that I really like, I will throw it up on a 100-gram skein for myself or for somebody else who wants it. So that's Witcher. The next color that I have is the Lion Cub of Sintra. And this is Ciri's color. So this is her blonde hair in the show. I know there's a lot going on between the show and the games and the books, and there's a lot of different opinions on that. I'm dyeing them up based on the show. So this is basically Ciri's blonde hair, her brown dress, her blue cloak, and then her eyes and her adventures in the forests. So that's basically what Ciri's color is. I have dyed up the Baron Mage, which is Yennefer's colorway. I'm excited about that. That's more grays, blacks, with pops of purples and greens. I will be doing another color for Jaskier. I'm excited to dye that one up. I'm just still trying to figure out how I want to do color placement on his, and then those will be the first 4 that come out. I have been debating how many I want to do. I'm going to stick with 4 for a little bit, see how that plays out. Maybe later in the year add to it, or do some colors based off of games or the books themselves. We shall see. Who knows? Maybe big plans here. Maybe I'll put out a Witcher advent calendar in December with all new colors. Who knows? I don't know. I'll probably look back at this in December and go, what the hell were you thinking? But yeah, so as of right now, those are the 2 colors. I will be making these available towards, we'll say the end of the month. End of January time frame. Next podcast, I will give you the exact date that I will be putting those in the shop. I will also be posting it on Instagram and Ravelry so that everybody is aware of what's going on. But yeah, so that is it for the fiber content of this podcast. We are at 33 minutes. Oh my goodness gracious. I was hoping to keep this under 30, but guess not. So the last little bit is life update type stuff. If you are not here for that, thank you so much for watching. If you are here only for that, welcome to this part of the podcast. Jade, Bailey, Allie, Micah, Skinner, I see you. So, life update news. Whew, work has been crazy. I'm a claims adjuster for auto claims, and people in the state of Alabama seem to really like totaling their cars. Is basically what's going on. So I've been doing a lot of paperwork at work, a lot of time on the phones, a lot of time on the computer, and so I've been making it a goal to walk during my lunch break to get out of the office, do something physical, get some exercise. Luke and I have been doing meal prep and trying to eat healthier. Again, 2020 is the year where I don't put deadlines on myself. I don't do self-imposed deadlines this year. That's just what it is. I'm not doing any outrageous goals. I'm just kind of doing things as I see fit. Whatever makes sense. I'm not going to stress myself out about it, basically. And so with that being said, the goal with meal prep and trying to get more exercise is not to lose weight. It is to be healthier, basically. And so I'm trying really hard to do that. We've done a really good job so far, 11 days in. Haven't gone out to eat anywhere, so progress over last year. But yeah, so we've been doing that. We've been finding some really fun, healthy meals to eat that are really filling, really tasty. So going to be doing a lot more of that within the next week or two. Cortland is finally home with us again. She was visiting Grandma and Grandpa up in Huntsville with her cousin Brady, which is my brother's French bulldog. They get along great, and so my brother Christian said that he would keep Cortland up at my dad's house while he was home from college for the break, and when he had to go back to school, he would bring her back down to us, and which is awesome because we're like 2.5 hours from my parents' house. So she finally came back, and it's just kind of been readjusting. We just had our fence go up, so now she can run around in our backyard like crazy instead of having to be put on a leash or anything. And she's been loving life. She's been getting all the treats, all the snuggles. She is fat now that she has come back from my parents' house, but that's okay. It just means that they loved on her quite a bit. So yeah, getting into that swing of things. I don't think Luke and I really have anything planned for the rest of the month. The only thing coming up is Luke has his green card interview on the 27th of the month, and so we've been doing a lot of getting paperwork together, making sure we have everything we need. It has been a long and lengthy process. We submitted his application in April of last year, right after we got married. April 13th is when we submitted it. We got married April 10th, and it has taken them until January 27th to schedule the interview. I'm nervous because it's kind of the culmination of all of the prep work that we've done, the biometrics he had to do, the physical, the waiting, the social security number, and his ability to start working. And now we're kind of coming to a head at this point where we're getting to the point where the United States of America is going to determine whether or not he gets to stay here with us. And so it's a little nerve-wracking because it's a 50-50 chance. Either yes, he can stay, or no, he has to go back to Australia. And while I feel confident that, there's no reason that they should say no, it is still very nerve-wracking to have a decision that large out of my control. And so I'm trying to control it the best that I can by making sure all of our paperwork is in order, all of our documents are here. And that's kind of been the big push so far this month to get things done, is to make sure that everything is in place so that we're not missing anything, so that we can be the best prepared that we can. But yeah, so I've got 16 more days. 16 more days before we can kind of figure that out. It's going to be a long 2 weeks. Lots of knitting will get done, I'll guarantee you that. And then after that, I think next is just really prepping for Valentine's Day. in February and trying to figure out what I'm gonna do. I think I might knit Luke a pair of socks. Maybe. He's a size US 13. I mean, that's a lot of knitting for anybody. So we'll see. We'll see how it goes. Thankfully, I don't really have any birthdays until like May time frame. So it gives me some breaks from gift knitting, except I have to finish up some gifts that I started last year that never got finished. So yeah, but I mean, that's basically been life update is work, planning for the green card interview, and Cortland being home are the big things here. Yeah, so I think that's all I've got. We're at 40 minutes right now, and thank you so much if you've stuck through all of that. I know it's a lot of chatter. Like I said, I'm not putting any self-imposed goals, schedules, anything like that on myself, but yeah, that's basically all I got today. So if you liked this video, like it, subscribe to my channel. That would be awesome. You'll keep updated with all new videos that may be going on. If you want to like me on Instagram, feel free. That's where I post a lot of the colors before they go up on Etsy. It's where all of my Etsy shout outs are for when my updates are and things like be made available, and where you can keep on track with all of my knitting, spinning, crochet, cross stitch, fibery, non-fibery life events. So other than that, thank you so much if you've stuck through all of this, and I hope you guys have a wonderful, wonderful couple of weeks ahead. And if I see you next week, awesome. If not, if I see you in a couple of weeks, cool. But in the meantime, I hope you guys have everything that you wish for, and that you've got some happy crafting ahead of you. Bye.